guys, I'm Erin and welcome back to my channel. So today we'll be talking about some 2022 releases. So last year I waited until the end of the year to kind of do a 2021 new releases that I read wrap up, and I ended up with a lot of new releases to talk about in one video. It's kind of unwieldy. So this year I decided instead to do it quarterly and just talk about them every 3 months. And that's 3 months as in the ones I read in the past 3 months, not necessarily the ones that came out in those 3 months. And so I'm just going to be doing a ranking of them because there's a few enough that a ranking was feasible, because I often have a hard time ranking things against each other, especially when it's a mix of genres, because sometimes it's hard to rank different genres because I like them for completely different reasons. So today I have 9 total books to talk about, and these are all the 2022 new releases I read in January through March so far this year. So starting at the bottom with number 9, and this is the only DNF on this list, which is why it's last, and that's Wild and Wicked Things by Francesca, and this came out on March 29th. And so this one, I think I made it about 20% in before I DNF, so not super far, but I just super wasn't feeling it. And so this is kind of like a Great Gatsby vibes, kind of like our world but with magic, like post World War I, set on this island. I think it was called Crow Island, and on this island it's like Prohibition era. There's like a fly flying around, I'm sorry. It's kind of like Prohibition era, but instead of like alcohol, it's like magic's a thing that's like kind of outlawed. And on this island there's like this fancy house and these like rich people who are like throwing these elaborate parties, you get those Gatsby vibes there. And the main character has come to this island, I think because her dad has just died and he lived there. A little fuzzy, because again, I only made it 20%. And so I DNF'd this because the only thing this book was even giving me was vibes. And Great Gatsby vibes are just not my vibe. Like, I didn't care about the characters. The plot wasn't compelling because, not really much was happening. Like, she was just kind of at this cabin or house and there was this party being thrown, and I don't know. It's just the summary on the actual back of the book had so many things that sounded interesting, and I just was like, I don't know, I just was bored. Like, I started this book so many times. I guess I started it once, but I'd read a chapter or two and then I'd get distracted by something else. Then read a chapter and get distracted by something else. And I just was dragging it out. So I was like, I should just stop. I was trying to push through because it was an arc and I didn't want to DNF an arc, but I just wasn't interested. If I had realized this was kind of a Great Gatsby vibes inspired story before requesting the arc, I probably would not have, because Great Gatsby is just not my thing. But I did not see or hear that comparison until after I'd been approved for the arc, and the summary itself didn't necessarily give me that, because again, this isn't a Great Gatsby straight retelling story-wise. It's just kind of the vibe, so didn't come out. I didn't realize quite how much that was going to be just from the back of the book, and so maybe I'm just bad at interpreting back of the books. Who can say? But anyways, definitely disappointed that I didn't enjoy this one. Okay, next, number 8, the first book I actually read to completion, and that is Something Fabulous by Alexis, and this came out on January 25th. This was disappointing because I love the other book I've read by this author, and I was really looking forward to this one, and just didn't do it for me. It was entirely too campy most of the time. Sometimes it was fine. There were some scenes that fell below my camp tolerance level that I kind of enjoy, because I think I have a fairly high camp tolerance level, especially if I kind of go in knowing the author's style might lean towards that, which I did presume this author's style might lean towards that a little bit. But it's just too over the top a lot of the time that I just didn't enjoy it. And then I did like the main couple in this one. This is a historical romance. I did not say that. I did like the couple, but one of the side characters, the sister who the 2 main characters were trying to track down, was so obnoxious that I actively didn't care about the plot because I didn't want them to find her, because if we didn't find her, then she couldn't be on my page. So disappointment, unfortunately, but I definitely will still rereading from this author again. So next is The School for Good Mothers by Jessamine, and this came out January 4th. This one had so much potential that I think it would have been really good as a novella. It kind of is a near future take on if Child Protective Services start sending reported parents to kind of a boot rehab camp thing, the School for Good Mothers, or Good Fathers, but this book only takes place in the mother's school, and it kind of just follows this one mother who gets sent there and the classes that she takes to kind of rehab, and I just think it was too long, and because of that it got really boring in the middle. And I did think the ending was a little lackluster. So I think this would have been improved by cutting out some of the monotony of the school, because like it didn't need to hear that she was going to class and taking an exam like 8 times to get the point across. But it did have a lot of really interesting ideas, and that's why I'm kind of putting this one up next over my other 3-star of the month. Those 2 were 3 stars, and so this one's winning out because I think these ideas, when I liked it, I thought it had some cool things going. It was just super boring parts of it. Next, number 6 and my first 4-star. So 6 and up, all of these are 4 and 5 stars. So the rest of this list are all ones I definitely enjoyed and would recommend if you're interested. And so the first one, number 6, is Electric Idol by Katee Robert, which came out January 18th. This is the second book in the Dark Olympus series, following Neon Gods. And this one I liked a little less than Neon Gods. I thought the main couple was really enjoyable together. They had good chemistry together. I liked Psyche. This was a Psyche and Eros retelling, and so I liked Psyche's character and like kind of how she found her spot in the political world of Olympus, as kind of like how she survived in it, because she doesn't really like it. And however, the plot stalled for me, and I think it's because I just didn't care as much about the plot in this one. And so when we had like kind of a large section focusing on it, I was just kind of like, can you go back to the romance part, please? But overall, still really good, and it had a really good, exciting ending to kind of bring it all together, and definitely still like this one, and I'm definitely going to read the next one. Next, at number 5, was Age of Ash by Daniel Abraham. This is the first in his new trilogy, and it is his first Daniel Abraham I have read, and this was a slow burn of a book, but it really worked for me. Being able to like kind of sit and like ruminate in this world he built really allowed you to sink your teeth in really well to this city he built, the city of Kithamar. And I'm really intrigued with how this series is going to go, because it's set up to be all the books take place over the same year span, just told from different points of views. I'm really intrigued how that's gonna go with the next one. I think it has really high potential to work out really well for the rest of the series. And I enjoyed this one, and I am looking forward to, again, seeing how these ideas play out in the next ones. Next, number 4, Kamila Knows Best by Farah Heron, and this came out on March 8th. This is an adult romance, and it is a retelling of Emma by Jane Austen, which I have not read Emma, but I love Emma retellings. Maybe one day I should read Emma. And I thought this one was a really cute one. This one is kind of like a Bollywood, Indian, Canadian cultural infusion retelling, and I really liked it. I thought our main character was, again, based on the way the Emma character is usually done in retellings, I thought this character also seemed to, along the same lines, be a really well done, part quirky but still a competent woman who like knows what she wants and stuff. And it, like, I don't know, it balanced it really well, where it wasn't just full quirky and annoying or no quirk. It was a really well done balance of that kind of quirky character, I think, where it came off as very realistic and also a character you really enjoyed and rooted for, and I think was a very well developed character. She and the hero had really fun chemistry, and there were a couple scenes that felt odd, almost like it makes me wonder if they were scenes that were riffing off of the original Emma, because they definitely felt as if they were shoehorned in specifically to riff off that event in the original, and not because it was like a naturally good fit for the book. And so there's a couple points of downer, but overall really fun, and I would definitely recommend this if you're into Emma retellings or adult contemporary romance. Next, at number 3, was Finlay, Donovan, Knocks 'Em Dead by Elle, Cosimano, which came out on February 1st. This is the second book in the Finlay Donovan series. This series is just so fun. It gives me what I wanted from cozy mysteries the times I've tried it, but cozy mysteries are just kind of too cheesy and too twee for me, I guess. Like, I just don't like the cozy mystery vibes. But this gave me what I wanted out of cozy mystery, the kind of amateur detective in over their head, trying to figure shit out kind of deal. This delivered on that, but it didn't have that kind of cheesy cozy mystery vibe, and I really enjoyed it. These are just fun reads. They're compulsively readable. I like went and sat at a park and read almost all of it just like in one sitting, and it was really fun, and I really loved our main characters. I kind of liked seeing a little bit of the backstory of one of our side characters, Vero, and I'm definitely excited for when the third one comes out. Next up are my top 2, and these were hard to choose between 1 and 2 because these are my 2 5-star reads of this list, and these are just such different books that it was hard to choose which one I like better, because I like them for like literally completely unrelated reasons. But Number 2 I decided is I Must Betray You by Ruta Sepetys, which comes out February 1st. This is a YA historical fiction taking place in the months leading up to the Romanian Revolution of 1989, following a high school student who ends up getting blackmailed into becoming an informant for the Romanian government's secret police in exchange for medicine for his sick grandfather. And I love this book. This book was so good. I didn't really know much about this time period before picking this up, and I really enjoyed what I did learn. Not that it was good, because it's like really shitty at the time, but I enjoyed learning about it. Like it put me on a lot of different like Wikipedia spirals, which I love it when historical fiction does that. And it was just so good. The story itself was gripping, as well as just watching our main character as he kind of had this like mental spiral from he's trying to do the right thing, but he hates what he's doing and he feels so guilty all the time, and he just like doesn't even know how to handle it anymore. And that kind of pushes him towards the more revolutionary figures or like groups that he sees kind of around town, like the protests that start happening before the revolution. And this is a great book. Definitely want to recommend. Probably one of the best YA historical fiction, if not the best, I've read. Ruta Sepetys kills it again. And then the number 1 book on this list of the new releases I read in the first 3 months of this year is Hookline Singular by Tessa Bailey. This came out on March 1st, and it is the second book in the Ballinger Sisters series, following It Happened One Summer. And so I love the first book in the series, so I tried to temper my expectations because I didn't want to build this one up just to not love it as much as the first, because it could have still kind of been really good, but I just like adored the first one. It felt like an unfair bar, but you know what? It freaking hit that bar. It was so good. This was a friends to lovers romance. It's a little bit of a twist on it in that they hadn't been friends for that long. Like I feel like usually friends to lovers is like long time friends, or at least several years, and they've only been friends for like 6 months. And so I thought that was kind of an interesting little bit of a twist on there. But what really pushed this from just being like a really cute, fun 4-star romance to me into a 5-star so good was the way Tessa Bailey wrote our male hero character, and his character arc was incredible. Like the way he just came to terms and convinced and finally was able to believe that he deserved to be in a loving relationship. And his journey to get there was just so well done that really just like it touched me. Like when he got there, I was like rooting for him so hard, and that just really pushed this into just a great 5-star romance in my mind. And so yeah, this is my favorite of the new releases I read in January through March. So if you read any of these 9 books, let me know what you thought below, and tell me what your favorite new release was that you read in the first 3 months of the year. And I will see you in my next video.